Hello, everybody. This is a Lamley preview. More Hot Wheels Premium. We've done a lot. 2-packs, the Target 2-packs that are coming out. Canyon Warriors Race Day from Car Culture. Fast and Furious Premium. Boulevard. We've had a couple of mixes lately. But this is the new Hot Wheels diorama set. Walmart exclusive here in the United States. Rally is the theme in this one. And this is very, very cool. Now, I put this on Instagram not too long ago. A little surprised by some of the comments. Let me just say, when people say, oh, this is going to be a peg warmer, and maybe it is, but when I see, like, I put up a Fast and Furious post and people are like, oh, all the repeats, I wish they do something original, and then Hot Wheels does something original, and you see comments like, oh, it's going to be a peg warmer. Come on, I know it's not the same person commenting per se, but at the same time, this is fantastic. To see Hot Wheels take on Rally like this, I think we should all support it. Even if you're not a big Rally fan, I think this is a set to buy because the cars are fantastic. For those of us that are collectors, like going back to vintage racing and some of these other fantastic sets, this is magnificent. Now, some of the stuff isn't licensed, like we don't see a Martini and all that kind of stuff. Still, though, we need to buy these so that Hot Wheels keeps making them. This is the kind of stuff that I love seeing in car culture. Some of these like little homages to classic racing and things like that. I know there's a lot of people who want to see this, and it just opens up a million other doors. That's the soapbox. I'm done with it. Let's talk about this set, and it is fantastic. Like I said, MG Metro 6R4. This is the second version of that casting. It's right there. Lancia Delta Integrale. That's the first premium version of this casting that we've seen in basic, and it gets this Martini homage or Martini tribute, call it whatever you want. And then the Hot Wheels Rally Hauler. That's the hauler. That's the first time this has been seen in a set that hasn't been Team Transport. It's actually the fourth time that we're seeing this. We'll talk about that in a second. A really good hauler, I think, for this set. And then, of course, the Ford RS200 in a kind of a very much a rally classic race style, but it doesn't look like much in terms of logos, but that's okay. Let's look at the back here. There's that. There's that. Oh, they actually put it on the trailer, which is kind of cool. And there's that. There's that. It's upside down, but that's okay because I'm not going to turn it upside down. And let's just get right to opening this thing up. I already popped that portion of it. By the way, Mattel sent this, and obviously it'll be in stores soon. Walmart soon, at least here in the United States. I'm going to put this like that so we can have that in the background. Look at the rally theme in the background of this set. It's actually really cool, and I'm hoping this is on the pegs because some of these sets are really hard to find. I might buy a second one just to have it like this because I really do like these packaged and I like them in the setup. We're going to break away here and cut these open real quick, but I'll just stay focused on this. Is that like, I don't know if that's a stain or if that's supposed to look like maybe dirt getting kicked up by these cars. That's kind of cool. These little spots there. Can you imagine a trail like this? See a lot of this kind of landscape in Utah. I know this could be Europe and most likely would be kind of, well, it's rally. This is awesome. Just awesome. I'm kind of spending a little too much time here. Let's kind of put this down. Well, you know what? While we're still talking, let me just kind of put this up here. I have gone full rally. I have pulled out a ton of rally cars, premium only. And we can kind of like celebrate some of the cool rally cars that we have. Now I brought out the hauler. I brought out the Rally Hauler, which makes a ton of sense. It's kind of loosely based on Ford, but one of the cool things about it, the first version was actually this Ford set in Team Transport. I'll move this down a little bit. And, it kind of has that Ford look to it, but one of the reasons it's generic, I'd prefer it licensed, of course, but one of the reasons that it's generic is it allows then for an MG themed rally set, and then this one that actually had the Rover on it. I put the Lancia on there because I'm going to match that to the Integrale. But you can actually start having some fun with some of the rallies. So, for example, like I could take this one, obviously matches, but I could take this one off, and we've got kind of this kind of Rothman Racing. Sorry, I'm not even like this is appears to be kind of a tribute to Rothman Racing, as is this 959. So you could definitely put the 959 there. Actually, it'll make even more sense on the other rally hauler. But because this isn't licensed, you can kind of, mix and match a little bit with some of these. And I think playing with cars today, this makes perfect sense. I really enjoy this. So we're going to have some fun with the rally cars. I pulled out a ton of them. We'll walk through them. But let's go ahead first and get these cars off of the set. Get them cut open. All right, they are all cut open, and we are going to have a look. The first thing we should do is talk about the hauler, the rally hauler, which, like I've said, I've already talked about it. It is generic. I kind of get it now. I would love a licensed one, like a Ford style, but considering all of the rally brands, Lancia, Renault for that matter, Ford, of course, MG in this case. I mean, there's a lot of cars that could go on here. And, this makes sense, for a brand like Hot Wheels. So let's go ahead. This is actually a 4-piece set, to be perfectly honest, because you have the full trailer. This is the first time it's in black. It's been in white the entire time previous. I'm going to move this down even further. And, of course, here is the rally hauler. We'll just take a look at that right now. Well, no, let's not take a look at that right now. Let's just take a look at all of them. So where did it start? Started with Ford race team. I want to play with cars today. I'm actually filming this on a Saturday. I have a little bit of time. So I got a lot of cars that we're going to go through. Race team was the first set. Obviously, it just has that vibe of like an old Ford Transit van, something like that. It just works perfectly. And I think when we only had one, it was like, why didn't they just do a licensed one? It's Ford race team, Ford set. They put the RS 2000 on it. It would make perfect sense. But RS 200, sorry. I always do that. It's when you have 2000 GTs and things like that. RS 200. But the RS 200, it should have been, why don't they just make that license? Well, because then later on, all of a sudden, we see the new MG Metro set, and it can start taking on totally new decos, totally new colors, obviously have a companion piece, a car that doesn't have to be Ford. Because I have to imagine that when you're dealing with licensors, maybe back in the day you could do this, but you want to say, hey, we want to do a Ford rally car, but we're going to put it on, I don't know, a Mercedes hauler or something like that. They might say no. Now, I know we've had some combinations like that. We've had VW and Porsche, but that makes sense, right? But so this opens up these kind of doors. You could say, well, they could just do a Ford hauler and they have a Chevy hauler now and all that kind of stuff. I agree, but we all know. I mean, we got to be realistic about this, right? So that was the second version. Of course, the third version just came out with the Rover with a very kind of simple, generic, does it even say Rover on it anywhere? I don't think it does. There's probably things like that too. Like some brands, I know Mercedes allows for Mercedes-Benz to be on a generic hauler, but with Team Transport and stuff, but sometimes they don't. Everyone's a little different, and Hot Wheels has to juggle all of that. And I think all things considered, that's a pretty sweet fleet. So let's take a look at this version. We get Bilstein on it. We get Hot Wheels on it. There's some other logos there on the side. Jones, J. Lou's there. Trying to see. Cute. These have got to be designers. That van there and their logos. I'm going to miss some of them. Brembo there as well. Shell. Kind of cool. It looks really cool. Again, it's kind of a generic, such a bad word, but it's like it can kind of hit whatever note you want it to hit in terms of deco with this, just like the casting does. It can be some sort of Euro van. It can also have some sort of generic rally racing deco, which works here. Wheels work. Everything works. On this van. I really dig it. They've actually paired the MG with it, so why don't we go to that? All right, but before we do, oh man, there's just so many directions we can go with this. It's just too much fun. All right, well, let's talk about the MG. Someone made a comment when I showed this that somewhere that the MG doesn't fit here. Yeah, it totally does. This is a classic rally car. And one that, like when the JDM kind of era started happening with Hot Wheels, and we're like, well, it's one thing to see Skylines, but all of a sudden we're seeing Laurels and that sort of thing. This is that kind of thing. Hot Wheels is going all in on rally, and this casting is the best evidence. This is the second version. First version is in this yellow and red deco, which has, again, while it may not be specifically licensed, you can see what it's paying tribute to. and just go look it up. Go look up rally cars. I've done that. As you guys know, there's a lot of things I don't know. And when we get cars like this, I get an education. I start learning and I start appreciating. And that's what's so cool about this. And this is a casting that definitely fits that. So I'm going to put that one back where it goes. And then I'm going to add, I guess we'll just keep going here. And then we'll just add this one. Now, actually, before we do that, I'm trying to find connections. So this one has kind of the Rothman look to it with the red, the blue, and the yellow. Same with the Porsche 959. This Porsche 959 rally style, it's a cool casting. I'm glad that we now have the RLC version, which is more the street version of the 959. But it helps you really appreciate this rally style that they did. So this one makes a lot of sense. So we'll go ahead and add that one. In terms of, we're just kind of going through the rally family of cars, so you can add that to the trailer. And now we will. Well, is there any other car I want to add? You know what? Another underappreciated car. I'm literally going by the seat of my pants here, as you guys can tell. I'm just grabbing cars as we go, so we can kind of build this family. And I thought this one. I actually talked to my friend Graham Heaps. Graham Heaps is a car writer and writes for the Lamley blog occasionally, and is a big collector. What casting should I include? And I pulled out a bunch, and he also said, hey, you got to include the Renault. So I pulled out the Renault as well. This is the 5 Turbo. Another iconic racing deco. This is one that the only time we've seen it, we saw it in the first Boulevard way back when in 2013, and then we've seen it at one time in Car Culture. This is a casting that desperately needs to return. If the Metro wasn't gonna be in this set, I would have preferred this one. So we're gonna add that one to the mix. Doesn't really fit on the Ford race team, but we're gonna just bear with it for now. And finally, we will take a look at the MG Metro in its Rothman style look. Well, we did pretty good, doing some form. We've got a few more to go to. On this. This is kind of cool. All right. You can see all the deco. I love how they've done the front section of this one. I don't know exactly the purpose of that kind of front area. You guys can tell me. It's like a spoiler. I guess it's a spoiler. Maybe that's what it serves, as the purpose of a spoiler, just like the spoiler on top. Love this. Love the wheels on it. I think it looks fantastic. I think it's a casting that, once again, if you don't appreciate it now, I bet if you kind of Google this, you'll appreciate it later. And this is a set to be appreciated. So there's the first one. We built a nice little legacy on this one, but let's go ahead and move those out of the way, and let's move on to the next ones. It's kind of fun. Still don't know exactly how I'm going to pull this home. Let's go to the RS200. Another casting that I think is fabulous. Really well done. Lots of excited people. We've actually seen this, like Matchbox, maybe even Hot Wheels did this back in the day, but they redid the casting entirely for premium. I'll walk through the first. How many versions have we had so far? 3? This is actually the 4th. Here's the first version. In a Ford racing livery. It was in Car Culture. It was actually released with the Lancia. We'll get to that one in a minute. But there was the first. We'll put it on the Ford race team. That makes perfect sense. Well, actually, no, it really doesn't. We'll put it on this generic one, because the one that makes perfect sense is actually the 3rd version. I'll get to the second in a second, which was the one that matches the Rally Hauler here, the Ford race team version. I think this one has the best look. I hope they do a plain one eventually, to be honest. I'd love to see one just in all white with some sort of, kind of cool racing wheel on it. Very similar to, I'm going to reach over here, what they did with Canyon Warriors. We're going to see this one in a racing livery at some point, right? But right now it starts kind of in a stock version. I would love to see this one go stock too. But in terms of racing decos, I really dig this one. So that one will go with its actual appropriate counterpart from Team Transport. 3rd version, a little bit lesser known, but obviously the most valuable, is this one. It is the RS200 from the Period Correct. I did pull this one out too. I'll put it on the turntable without the acrylic case on it. I'm not going to pull it off of the base, though. Same kind of thing. It's like, it's an homage. It's definitely a tribute to racing liveries in the past. You can see a lot of Period Correct, some Hot Wheels, some Ford, all hinted at in the deco on this one. Love the white rims on this one. We'll see that with the Integrale coming up in a second. But I think that one is super, super cool. It's not going to fit on, so we'll put it right here. and it's not going to fit on a trailer, obviously, so we need to find a fourth one before we get to it. Well, if we're going Ford, why don't we just add the RS Cosworth, right? That one would make sense. This one was in Boulevard, right? Just recently, just released in the last few weeks, right? Is this the second? This was the one before, right? I'm trying to remember. Anyway, super, super cool casting, made for Boulevard, obviously made for premium. I think this is a Mark Jones casting one he's always wanted to do. And we're going to see this one, obviously, in many, many places. And it looks very cool in its racing livery. So it gets a spot here in this Ford portion of the, well, we'll just, and you know what? We're not even done with Ford. Should we just keep on going? Let's just keep on going. Because we got other Fords too. Here's the Escort. We've seen this one mainly in Fast and Furious, but it got a Ford Racing diorama set a while ago. This one came in, it looks really cool in this Ford Racing livery. Very simple, very era appropriate, I think, period correct, if you will. The counterpart that it came with was this one, the first version of the 78 RS 1800, right? Which is fantastic. We've seen two versions of that one. This is the first one in a Ford Racing livery. The second one was in another bit of those kind of tributes. Because this would this be a Rothman tribute as well? Sure looks like it. Ford livery as well. This one was a really cool set from Boulevard. Love the colors on this one. Love the blank racing plate there. And I love the color of the wheels too. So that one was there, and I think does that finish off our Fords? Yeah, I think it does. And then we'll do Lancia to finish this off. This is a longer video, but I'm having a grand old time. There you go. Obviously, Ford. It hints at Ford in its color scheme, right? You got the Ford logo on the door underneath number 4. The rest of it's pretty. You know, there's shell there. We saw that on the Rally Hauler. It seems appropriate. It seems appropriate with the era. I really like this one. The car is fantastic. The wheels look good. Those wheels have been in premium before. They don't pop up a lot, but when they do, it's usually a car like this, and I think they look really good here. I like this version. I don't think I like it as much as the first two. The Ford Racing, both Ford Racing from Car Culture, but it does fit in nicely. And as a matter of fact, when you put it together, we got ourselves a nice group of cars. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. All right, let's move these out of the way. Ford, 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 Ford. We can go like that if we want. And let's do Lancia. All right. Really happy to see this one. It almost was, I had to remember that this one hasn't been done in premium yet because it just makes perfect sense. So in basic, I'm not even pulling out the basic, but this one gets a Martini tribute deco, Bilstein on it, Brembo. We'll look at that in a second. Couple of different angles we can go. But let's go several angles. Let's start with the poor rally car that has no place here. Well, it has place because it's an iconic rally car and we haven't shown it yet. And that's the Audi Quattro. I can't do a rally video without showing the Audi Quattro. So we'll do a very, very quick hello, how are you with the Audi Quattro. That was the first version. I believe this is the second version. They look so much alike. We actually did the Quattro not too long ago. I can't remember what I did with it, but that one seems to not want to get in there. Why am I having an issue with that one? I have no idea. But, and then there was the third version. I may have these backwards, but there we go. Yeah, what's going on that one? Who knows? Who cares? We have to give Audi the shout out. Obviously, more of these rally cars are going to show up. I just wanted to put them all together, right? Because that's what makes the most sense here. So we got those, you know, when you start looking up iconic rally cars, and I invite you to do that after this video, unless you already know your stuff here, which you might. All right, Lancia. Let's do Lancia or let's do Martini. We can go both. We can actually start. We've seen the Martini logo, or we've seen the Martini inspired. That's the right word. Martini inspired deco twice before. Here's where it really fits, because here is the Lancia, right? And this has been released in car culture with the RS200, the first version. It also jumped into, was it a 2-pack or was it a, I think it was a 2-pack. This is the 037, right? The Rally 037. And wheels look cool. Fantastic model. Pirelli, Lancia Racing on the spoiler, which we see shows up on the new version. Really, really cool car. I'm going to put it, I'll just put it right here. We've had this casting 2 other times. So this, like the RS200, I believe, well, no, we've had it 3 times. Second version was in a Golf set, right? Was it a Team Transport Golf set? Love this one. Wheels look so cool on this one. Golf is Golf. Can't argue with Golf. And this one looks really, really good. Orange rims, the chrome lips, 2-tone paint. A lot of the same logos that you see on a lot of these rally cars. Obviously, the logos that Hot Wheels has. So we'll put that one. Should we just go Ford Race Team plus Golf just to really make it nice and confusing? Let's go ahead and do that. And then there is, in the companion to the RS200 in the Period Correct set, we have the 037 in this one. We'll take the acrylic piece off and put it on the turntable as well. Another homage style deco. Like the color combination here. I actually like the modern rims on it. I don't know how appropriate they are, but it's a cool looking car and it's a cool looking release. These were put out, it's been a couple years at least, I think, and they had baseball caps that you could get with them. I've been seen wearing this occasionally. My daughter was actually wearing the RS200 down in where she works in Capitol Reef, and someone said, "Do you know what that is?" And she said, "I have no idea." And he said, "It's a cool car." So she got a little bit of an education, which was nice. I really like that. We'll put it there. And now, okay, one other Lancia. I'm hoping we'll see this one get some, this one's been a casting around for a long time. Finally popped into car culture and Spettacolari, the Stratos. We've seen the racing version of the Stratos. I don't know, I think I actually have it in the background. You can see it way back at the top of the screen. This one could, this one's in a racing livery, so it works. But hopefully we see it. And I actually would love to see this casting redone with some of the rally pieces to it. It just would make a ton of sense. But this is a nice one, and it's nice to have it in premium now in car culture, because that one looks good. There. Now we'll complete the set. Finally, with the Integrale. Martina inspired, Lancia Racing on the hood. I really liked the versions we saw in basic, but now that this has gone premium, I'll keep those new models, but I don't think I want to keep much else, because I'm hoping to see this in all kinds of cool rally liveries. This is one I want to see go in a stock version in premium. In fact, wouldn't there be a great mix where you had the RS200 in a stock look in plain white, maybe this one in like plain red, That would look super cool. There's a bunch of other racing cars that would be really cool to see take on that kind of look. Anyway, this looks so good, and I'm so glad it's gone to premium. And I don't know. This is a really cool set. And in fact, this new, I'll sing its praises. It's very much original. It's very much in tune with car culture. Hot Wheels is done. They don't have the Martini license, so we don't see Martini. At the same time, you know what they're doing. And look at this like family of cars that's forming here with Rally. And it gets super exciting as a Hot Wheels collector. I know there's a lot of you that are excited about it as well. You guys tell me what you think. Great set. We sure went long, over 20 minutes on a 3-car set with one unlicensed. I think we did pretty good, but hopefully you enjoyed that. I am digging it. Thanks, everybody. Bye.